Good morning and welcome to Monday Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592, the website at allamericangold.com. And I hope you all had a great weekend. The weather here is turning, yes. Fall is upon us. I'm talking like 70s for the highs. Listen, here in Arizona, 70s means people got the jeans on, right? We put the long-sleeve shirts on. Heaven forbid it gets in the 60s. It is the sweaters and the jackets. But it is going to be a fantastic day out here in the Valley of the Sun. So whatever you're doing out there, turn the AC off, open the windows, let the fresh air in. And we'll try not to pollute it for you. I'm joined like I am every day with my partner in crime, the man that runs the mothership in Colorado, Jason Walker. Jason, good morning. Did you have a good weekend? Were you able to take a little time and not think about the radio station, not think about gold and silver, just relax?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit of time. Yeah, it's a funny thing because I've always been pretty good at not taking work home with me, but with this thing here, man, you almost have to have one eye off in the other direction, Joe. But it's just the way it is.
Yes, the life of business owners. This is exactly what happens. There's no break out there, So I had to get gas this weekend. Wow, is it getting expensive? I got bad news for you. Going to get a lot more expensive. Crude oil up again today, now above $81 here, and rising almost $85 in Brent futures. Not a lot of good news out there. We got forced vaccine firings and layoffs coming. I don't think this is going to work very well, Jason. I'm just looking at healthcare workers, police, firefighters, teachers, truckers. We're talking tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. They've got to come up with a better plan. I think this is absolute suicide here when we talk about, hey, we're just going to fire everybody. Did you see what's happening with the airlines? I got to tell you right now, this is, if you want to know how controlled the media really is, okay? Southwest Airlines, if you haven't heard, has been canceling flights by the thousands.
Yep, I saw that.
It's a sick out. Listen, it's a sick. Let me tell you what it is. There's no bad weather. Okay? There's no some type of issues with the planes or anything like that. It's Southwest Airline employees by the hundreds, possibly thousands, calling in sick because they don't want to be forced to take the vaccine. Now, listen, this is not this show. I'm not here to argue on Patriot Radio News Hour about the vaccine. I'm not. We do that on a lot of other shows. Half Empty Cup of Joe. I'm sure Jason and I will get into that today. But I'm just talking about the financial ramifications of things and what you see, what you don't see, and again, how controlled the message is to you. So, Southwest Airlines, Denver was affected. As you know, we have a news feed for the office or for the radio station in Colorado. It's a Rocky Mountain News. And they were talking about the flights being canceled. When it came to why, they just simply said, weather delays and other unknown reasons, Jason. Yep.
Yeah.
They refused to say that they don't want you to hear, hey, Southwest employees are calling in sick because they don't want to be forced to take the vaccine. The media won't let you hear it. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to this news feed and I'm like, you're kidding me. But this is how controlled things really are. Part of the reason, one of the reasons why this show is popular, why our radio station in Colorado is so popular, because we'll tell you, listen, this is just what's happening. And I'm sitting there and I'm watching and I'm like, this couldn't be coming at a worse time, because all of these companies, they're throwing in these deadlines. You got to be fully vaccinated by October this, or by November that, or by December this. And what we're seeing now is, even with the threat of losing your employment, people are like, I don't care. I'm not doing it. And again, it's just another failure of government. It's another failure of government. They haven't done a good job from day one in whether it's the vaccine itself, the policies behind it, and again, forcing people to do things, Jason, is never the answer.
That's right. People want to be free to make their own decisions, and unfortunately, when it comes to employment, there's a whole lot of gray area, and we're seeing a lot of people having to deal in that gray area right now, and a lot of them are deciding, you know what, I'll find another job, or we'll force the system to change our way instead of us going the system's way.
Well, I think that's what we're headed for. I think a lot of, and again, this will bring the airlines to its knees, by the way. And already, let's face it, heavily government subsidized industry. I sit there like going to Colorado. I should have been up to Colorado, but the thought of I got to put a mask on the second I get in the airport, it's got to stay on. Then I got to get on a flight. It's got to stay. I mean, I don't even want to deal with it. Patriot Radio News Hour. Unfortunately for all of us, the impact is going to be a lot worse than people think. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. And we sit here, we watch over the weekend. Goldman Sachs was lowering GDP again. This is how quickly things change. 6 months ago, GDP for the third quarter just ended. GDP for the third quarter was somewhere, depending on who you were asking, between 7 and 9%. Now, these were the hopeful numbers. And then, I don't know, about 30 days ago or so, people started lowering them. And the number became 5 to 6%. And then 20 days ago, they lowered them again. And now it's, somewhere between 4 and 5%. Then over the weekend, they lowered them again. And now it's somewhere between 3 and 4% in falling. And then you throw in the self-inflicted gunshot wounds that the Biden administrations continue to lay at our feet. And Jason, I think we're setting ourselves up here for an event that most people have never lived through before, where we possibly, and if you follow certain trends, especially when you follow trends when it relates to consumers, whether it be spending or how they're feeling, survey data about how confident they are about the economy, and whether we like it or not, the vast majority of working Americans work at a small business. They don't work at Southwest Airlines. They don't work at UPS or FedEx or Walmart. The vast majority of Americans work at small business, and when small business isn't confident, stop spending. That we could be in a situation where recession is already happening. And it's going to feel like a recession to a lot of people. When you think about, hey, we were going to have 8%, 8.5% growth. And the number's now going to be, we don't know what it's going to be, but let's just say 3%. That's a big downshift.
Yep.
Massive downshift. GDP doesn't move like that. And of course, fourth quarter, everyone's expected it to be even lower. Jason, and then at the same time, record high pricing, Jason.
It's kind of hard to have a high GDP number when a lot of it's sitting in a ship out in the ocean. If it's not moving, you can't count it, right?
But I hate to say it, I don't want to talk about shipping today, but Jason brought it up, so it's not my fault. To put I don't know what it is, the ship fuel, if it's diesel or, I don't know, whatever ships run on. All-time record high price, not quite all-time record, almost record high pricing to put the gas in the boat. And then, of course, they're anchored out there. It's not like they're not burning fuel. So they got to put even more fuel in the boat because it sits out there for so long. Couple of things that hit record high prices today. Let's start with breakfast. Breakfast in America getting more expensive. Oat fields, apparently, Jason, have been devastated. The lowest harvest for cereal grain in years has pushed oat prices to all-time record highs. They said scorching heat waves in Canada slashed its production to decade lows. By the way, I did not know this. Canada's the biggest exporter of oats. Ships most of its oats, obviously, right here to the United States. But, oat futures, the highest on record at the CME group. Bloomberg says the situation for North American farmers so dire that in the summer that many cut their losses and harvested the damaged plants to be sold to feed animals instead of humans, Jason. So this is how bad it was.
Wow. Yes. I don't know this for a fact, but is there a lot of Quakers up there? That's the first thing.
You learn so much, right? I had no idea that we got most of our oats from Canada.
Yeah,
by the way.
That's interesting, Joe, because we in my family, we eat quite a bit. Jack eats a ton of it. Growing up, that's the way to grow is to eat oats. And, those prices are higher, Joe.
Yeah, and let me tell you, there's other things in there that Jason would not approve of. Here's some not approved Jason food. Krispy Kreme donuts. Yes, apparently oats, one of the main ingredients in donuts. And they said other things such as flour, butter, milk, oil, sugar are forcing everybody to raise prices. That's just a few things. How about this one? We've been telling you about this one. This one is one that worries me a lot. Fertilizer prices. A new all-time record high for fertilizer prices. And this is surpassing. Fertilizer prices spiked when oil hit 150. For what? What did oil hit? 150 for about 10 minutes, right? And we had a spike for about 30 days, like in 08, 09. All-time record highs of $996.32 per short ton. They're blaming hurricanes, which affected the fertilizer plants. I think it's ammonium phosphate is what is used in this. Sanctions and then natural gas shortages in Europe and China. Remember on Friday we told you about that pipeline from Russia to China that caught on fire. Apparently now, Jason, fertilizer prices new all-time record highs, and they're saying going to have a dramatic impact on food prices for 2022.
Yeah, let me give you a quick story about the whole buy it now scenario that people are going to start figuring out. Because a lot of people that don't listen to the station, Joe, they're not really either experiencing it fully or they're not paying attention. And so my wife, we're having a grandma birthday thing next weekend. And I won't go into the whole, because that's a whole family gathering to have their own story, so we'll stay away from that one. But they're going to have it catered by barbecue. And I think it was, I don't know when they priced it. A week ago, 2 weeks ago, they had priced that they're going to, cater the barbecue for this next weekend gathering. And my wife's mom was shocked. That was the word, surprised, shocked, that the new price was $75 higher yesterday when she checked. Hey, are we going to get this thing going next week? And the price was $75 more for the same exact amount of food, Joe.
So she checked earlier.
A week or two ago, yeah. Yep.
Right, saw the price. Oh, okay, great, and made a call, said, hey, brother, it's going to be X amount, your share's this, and get okay, yeah, let's do it. Goes back to place the order, bam, $75 more bucks.
That's exactly what happened.
Of a couple of weeks.
And she was shocked, and my wife's like, well, don't you listen to my husband's radio station? You should have locked them into a price 3 weeks ago.
Well, we have what is it? HCC beef, right?
Yeah,
Jason?
that's right. Yep.
They have their commercial running right now that tells you, listen, order before October 15th. It says it right on the commercial.
Right on the commercial.
They actually told you, order your beef before the 15th of this month, because after the 15th, boom, prices are going up.
That's right.
I mean, it's incredible. These guys know. Listen, they know their business.
Here's another one, Joe. Here's another one. So there's this major food company, and it slipped my mind coming in, but they do a lot of food processing, and they do a lot of the foods for survival foods, freeze-dry, things like that, which I've covered a couple weeks ago. They just decided this is a major company. They're shut down for 90 days. They have to shut down. They're done for 90 days. No more food is part of it, and they can't. Their business models aren't working. What appears to be happening, Joe, is by the time they get the food and get it processed and out the door for sales, they don't have enough money to go buy the next crop or whatever they need.
Let me explain it for everybody in simple terms, because you've seen this with fertilizer companies. Right? You're seeing it now in food companies, where let's just say the price of your product, the cost, is $5. You've got a wholesale price of $6. Okay, so you're going to make $1 a product. Well, you reorder. The cost that used to be $5 is now $7.
Yep.
So you're like, holy crap, I got to raise my price. So you raise it to $8.50. You sell it. You go and you reorder it. They want $10 for the same price, right? And they're like, I'm going out of business.
Yep, you're running out of money to even buy anything.
I'm running out of money. I can't reorder. And I can't raise my prices fast enough. And a lot of businesses are just saying, you know what, time out. I got to take a 90-day time out. I got to figure out what my cost really is, because I don't know.
Meanwhile, Joe, a company like Walmart maybe takes it on the chin and takes the loss. And if they start to run out of money, they just, we're big enough to go get some free money real quick. Just pad it.
And Walmart, they can borrow as much money as they want.
That's right.
Right? Amazon can borrow as much money as they want. That's not an issue. How about Kraft Heinz this morning? And I hate to listen, I told you so. I told you, I've been telling you for almost a year. First of all, remember I was making fun of Jay Powell when he said, about a year ago this time, there's not going to be any inflation. Right? This guy's a moron. Or he's just purposely lying. Or as they said, this is all planned anyway. I don't know, whatever scenario you want, doesn't matter. Then they came up with this transitory thing. And I've given you example after example after example after example of why that's not true. Kraft Heinz this morning, we're raising prices again on everything. Every single product that Kraft Heinz produces are going to go higher, saying the cost of ingredients for cereals and oils. Well, let me tell you, here's what gets interesting. We're raising prices when necessary around the world. They're talking about how raw materials from crops to vegetable oils are out of control. But you know what one thing they really brought up now? supply chain issues.
Yep.
They said that products haven't been able to keep up with the demand, leading to higher prices. They said we got higher wages. We've got higher energy prices. He says shipping, lack of truck drivers, the cost for storage has been out of control, and Kraft essentially is, listen, we are in price-raising mode, and we're just going to keep raising them. That was kind of what he was leading up to. Every part of our supply chain, from getting a product out of the fields or wherever it's produced, right, from there all the way to it got put on the shelf at Walmart. Every process along the way, everywhere it touches, prices are up, Jason.
Absolutely, Joe. We're going to hit the break here in a second, but, you know, the whole coronavirus shutdown last year makes me feel a little fishy about all this going on. Did they know it was coming, Joe? And shutting down is a great way to stop supply lines when things are running out, you know, Joe?
Listen, you know what? We're going to talk about that when we return. Well, before I forget, happy Columbus Day for people out there. I don't have grade school age kids anymore, so I know schools are. I think what they do, because you're not really supposed to celebrate Columbus
Day. You're not up to date, Joe. This is Indigenous Peoples Day.
Indigenous Peoples Day. Oh, see, I'm out of step.
That's why it's still considered a good government holiday, because it's also Indigenous Peoples Day.
Gotcha.
That's why we can
I
take
know
the
the
day
kiddies
off.
are. I think that it's a teacher workshop day or something like that. But in any event, products remain very, very, very tight. The mint is closed at government, obviously government agency. The bullion banks saying tomorrow we may find the fade out, maybe, if we're going to see any more silver eagles between now and the end of the year. As we know, we've got maybe 6 more weeks before the mint closes to get ready for next year to begin with. On the gold side, it's just not a lot every day. There's some out there. I've got 25.20s again today. That seems to be about the going number. 25.20s today, 2,075. So save $20. 2,075 at 800-951-0592. We ran those AU peace dollars last week. Those are gone. We sold out of those. Those are done with. So we'll just keep you up to date of what we got. There is plenty of gold available in the higher grades, which just means you pay more. But at the lower end here, I got $20 gold pieces at $2,075.
Joe, let me
800-951-0592.
Joe, let me just about gold. I heard, Joe and I watch our guys. There's guys you'll see on YouTube and the guys on the TV. And one of the guys, Joe, and once again, I watch so many guys, I don't even keep track of their names. I just look for good content. And this guy was being interviewed, and he said, look, he's like, I wish people would understand gold in this fashion. He's like, your wife needs a new coat. And you're getting ready to go shopping. It's been a few years since she's got a new coat, so you're expecting a $300 to go buy this coat. And then you go shopping, and you find the coat is $160. Man, do you just snap that thing up. Because you were expecting $300. He's like, gold is not where it should be. It's priced too low. And people get sad about that. And they freak. And some people sell their gold because, well, I'm tired of waiting for it to go up. He's like, if people would simply look at gold like they do getting a coat, there'd be a lot more really intelligent, smart gold buyers out there, Joe, because he's like, this is he's so excited that he can buy tons of gold right now. He's like, man, this is like a dream for me because I know what's getting ready to happen. And what do you think of that, Joe?
You know what you do? You bring up a great point. Buying here, right? Some people, gold of course gold should be higher. Right, and the price gets suppressed and all that. We understand, but don't worry. It won't be. Here's the problem. It won't be here much longer. So feel fortunate that you're buying, like Jason
It's on
said.
sale. It's on sale today.
Right, it's on sale. Yeah, it's on sale. 800-951-0592. And Jason had brought up a point in the last several weeks, and we've been kind of scratching at it about this latest let's, for lack of a better word, supply chain disruption is really a small business killer. But this is really what's going to happen. When we talk about, hey, what's the next crisis going to be? Well, we already told you, listen, economy's slowing way down. And again, I have friends in the food and beverage arena. Every single one of them, and this is Arizona, says business is slowing. And it's, especially for my friends that own bars, it's football season. And they're like, it's not what it used to be. Last year, forget about last year. Go back to 2019 and 2018. And they're like, it's not here. And the cost, their margins are under so much pressure. And it's so hard for them to run their businesses because they don't know what to charge. And Jason has brought up, hey, listen, and we know this. Walmart just went out and rented all its own ships. Said, screw it, we're gonna rent our own. Costco, we're buying our own, right? They're renting whatever. They're locking up all the ships. And all of a sudden now you think about, okay, wait a minute, the economy's slowing, small business is struggling. Right? The extra benefits now are pretty much out. Except for maybe a few states. I think California's still paying some people some money. But other than that, Jason, it looks like, what we've been talking about, the squeeze that's being put on these small businesses, and what's happening for a lot of them is companies that they buy their products from are saying, well, I don't have this for you. I have it for the big restaurant chain, but not for you, right? Walmart and Kroger, they can get it, but you can't, Jason.
That's right, and that's just the way it works. I mean, you get big buyers that are putting in huge amounts of money to get things. It's very difficult for any business to say, well, why don't you wait in line like all the other customers? I got all these small guys in front of you. It just doesn't work that way. I mean, Joe, you told me that you and Eric, back into the 2011 kind of time frame when gold was spiking, you got to the point where you had to do order limitations, a certain level or higher, because there were just so many buyers coming in for gold that you guys didn't have the time to get the $100 and the $200 customer taken care of. It's just the way it went, right, Joe?
That's exactly how things happen. When you reach a certain point where all of a sudden, hey, there's only X amount. And like Jason said, when you shut down the entire world, pretty much, are we shocked at where we sit here? Right? All of a sudden, hey, stuff that we were producing last year, we didn't produce it. We only produced half as much because we had to close for 30 days, or we had to close for 90 days, or we were running short-staffed for a year. That happened everywhere. I don't have enough employees, right? Because, COVID, contact tracing, this, that, whatever it may be.
Right. Well, and Joe,
the government shut us down.
And I was also suggesting, was the COVID shutdown really necessary, or was that the excuse to take a test run at this thing, because they knew what was getting ready to happen here now?
And now with only so much to go around, who gets it?
Yep, who gets it?
The big companies, that's who. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. I've got two lines open. I shouldn't, but I do. That's great. US 20s, whatever's available. 2075 at 800-951-0592. The next price point, just in case you're running, it's not horrible, $2,095. That's not terrible. Problem is, if we sell out of that number, then they start making big jumps, $2,150, $2,200, and so on and so forth. 800-951-0592. So we're talking about all of these things. And just look at natural gas storage, all-time record lows, right? Especially with the population. A lot of that go back, COVID came. We had to slow down production. We didn't have enough workers in this. Crude oil supplies, all-time record lows. Cotton, oats, right? Pick a commodity. And it's always the same story, which is pork, chicken, beef. Well, cold storage supplies are out at all-time record lows, and it's universal. Well, they shut everything down. Now, here's the other problem, though. See, they shut everything down, Jason, and then they took the money supply to epic proportions. See, in the central bank, they want to just say, well, it's all COVID related. And once, and after that, then it'll be okay. And that's why it's going to be transitory. It's COVID related.
Right, Joe. That's what I'm wondering is are we heading for another shutdown to soothe all of these issues? Because once you freeze the economy up, everything can rebalance. Is it going to be a COVID excuse? Is it going to be
Well, you know what? Here's the thing that I worry about. Because they don't want you to know their part in all of this.
Correct.
Right? Which is, hey, remember, you're getting extra money. You were making, how many stories did we did where people were making more money not working than working?
Yes.
The government was handing out checks. Stimulus checks were seemingly coming 2 or 3 times a year, right? And all this money, they flooded the states with money so they can pretend they don't have a pension problem for a couple of years, and on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So all of a sudden, while you're shutting everything down, you gave people more money than they've ever had. Don't pay your student loans. Don't pay your rent, right, on top of it all. So demand spikes. And now we've got this huge problem that we're getting ready to crash. And here's the thing I worry about, Jason. There's no more money to spend.
Well,
how are they going to fix the next crash? What are they going to come out and spend $10 trillion? I mean,
they are holding that carrot out there, this new stimulus that they're just sitting out there waiting for the right time to vote on it, right, Joe? And why would I get a job if there's another $5 trillion getting printed?
And it's going to be something that I really think, again, and I know Jason. Hey, listen, they got all of this planned, and I'm not there. I'm not. I don't think everything's planned. And I think what we've done is they've put themselves in this horrible box with no way to get out of it. Now they're lying to us. They're lying to themselves. Right? It's just like with the Southwest Airlines story. The news media won't even tell you the truth. Because if they do, they're worried, oh my God, if we tell them Southwest isn't going to go to work, it's going to spread. Right? Now UPS won't go to work, and FedEx won't go to work, the post office won't go to work. All these people won't go to work, and we're going to have this horrible nightmare problem. And it's the same thing here. It's the same thing with this. Listen, small businesses, I'm telling you. I think we're getting set up for a huge small business wipeout in 2022.
Absolutely, Jason. That is definitely a part of this plan. That is... We're going to see. We're going to look a lot more like the USSR, where you only have a few choices of where you go to get your stuff. The part of the controlled thing that I talk about, Joe, that you understand fully. It's not so much that they control everything. It's just that it's a chess match. We've talked about this before, where they may not control every single thing, but if something goes the wrong direction of what they planned. Well, they've already looked at the 3 or 4 different moves they're going to make if things go outside their control, Joe. So that's why I think the whole thing's controlled. Is not Not that they're making all the best decisions, they're specifically controlling every outcome. I just think they have a lot of moves for every type of outcome that hits them that they're not ready for. I think they've game planned it, Joe.
Man, I'm just watching this headline right here. Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Costco, and other large retailers chartering their own ships to bypass supply chain problems. And I'm just thinking, man, what is the ramifications of this really going?
And Joe, I don't know how the unloading of the ships works on the docks, but it's a head scratcher is what's going on, that there's shortages, but there's all the ships full of stuff. It makes me wonder.
Well, right. Great point, right?
What I wonder, here's my question. What I wonder is, there's different parts of the harbor that unloads ships for certain companies, I guess, or certain types of materials. I don't know if it's just all loaded on for all companies at once.
Correct.
It makes me wonder is, there's just not enough unloaders for the Walmart ships, and that's why they're backed up, because the stuff for all the smaller companies doesn't exist. It's not there.
Well, this is what's going to happen is as they take up all this ship space, all the other small businesses, they don't get product.
Right.
That's just simple. We're going to make sure the big guys got theirs. Nobody else is getting it. And if you want to get it, think about what you're going to have to pay now. The few ships that remain that haven't been taken up, I can't even imagine what it's going to cost to get product on there. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. 800-951-0592. We still have a few 20s at 2,075. When we're out of those, we'll go to 2,095. When we're out of those, right? Probably looking at 2,150. 800-951-0592. And I don't mean to laugh. But I don't know what else to do. Crude oil prices continue to rise. By the way, gold's up a couple of bucks here, $17.60. Silver's up a couple of pennies, $22.75. The Dow is up $170 on retailers. Walmart, Target, Home Depot, on the fact that they essentially, I just think right here, Jason, they probably just put, 10,000 small businesses out of business in 2022 at a minimum, with the locking up of these ships now and making product unobtainable for a small business owner, and for them to actually get the product, what they're going to have to pay for it and what they're going to be able to charge is going to put them out of business. Just that simple.
Your number could be small if the threats of food shortages, and especially the energy shortages, having brownouts and blackouts, or a shutdown. If that happens on top of everything, Joe, then your number of small businesses will collapse even bigger than that number.
Yeah, this is and I agree. That's an entry-level number. That's assuming the problem doesn't get worse, which I think it's gonna. Today, as an example, rolling blackouts in India today. Get ready, it's coming. They're already warning about that here in the United States. Oh no, it doesn't happen. It happens in California all day long. Look at what happened in Texas. It's just starting to get cooler now. There's going to be huge demand, and all of, like I said, everything really, and almost universally, when you look at inventories, it's the same pattern, at or near all-time record lows. So any spike in demand sends the prices skyrocketing, Jason.
Exactly, and even though we live in a modern world, if you go to the pre-industrial age and the industrial age, food and energy become scarce during the winter. And just because we live in a modern society doesn't mean that those things don't happen. It always becomes a little scarce in food and energy. That's when you use the most of it, and here comes the winter, Joe, and they're having these problems before the winter. It's pretty scary. And what's funny, Joe, is the whole history of the holiday Halloween is about ancient peoples seeing the oncoming winter, and children be frightened at the darkening of the shorter days and the cold months coming. And for a lot of people, those were the months where people starved and froze to death. We don't have those problems in modern America or modern times, but Joe, there's going to be less energy. People are going to use more energy. It looks like there's less of it out there for whatever reason, whether it's false scarcity or not. And now there's supply problems, which means less food. So I don't think people are going to starve in this country, Joe, but it's going to get really expensive means there's less food. That's what inflation is.
Oh.
That's what it is.
Scarcity. 800-951-0592. Jason and I are going to be back with a half-empty cup of Joe. Edward Snowden was out making comments about the U.S. Federal Reserve-backed, Fed coin, if you will, saying that this is the setup, as we've talked about. This is going to be a deflationary Fed-controlled product that's going to annihilate the savings of all Americans. Yeah, just buckle up here, because that's exactly what happened. First, we're going to get the inflation, and then crashed with a digital deflationary cycle, and your savings is going to be gone. 800-951-0592.